Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to help you get informed quickly and maybe find those insights that really make you think.
That's the goal.
Today we're looking into something really ancient, kind of universal, the power of sound, specifically bells.
And their role in, warding off unseen forces. A bit spooky, maybe.
A little, yeah. Our guide for this is Sir James George Frazer's big work, Folklore in the Old Testament.
Right, and we're zeroing in on the very last chapter of Part 4, Chapter 7. It's called The Golden Balls. Very fitting.
It really is.
So our mission, if you will, is to unpack where these ideas about bells come from, historically, cross-culturally.
Starting in the Old Testament, surprisingly enough.
Exactly, and then looking wider to see how those broader traditions actually help us understand the Old Testament context itself. It's quite revealing.
Okay, so let's dive right in. The priestly coat. Exodus chapter 28, it describes the high priest's robe.
Yeah, quite something.
Made all of violet, it says, and it had this fringe pomegranates.
Woven, with violet, purple, scarlet stuff. Probably quite intricate.
Right, and maybe not embroidered flat, but hanging free like tassels. That seems more likely visually.
Makes sense. Otherwise, violet on violet, you wouldn't really see them.
Exactly. But here's the really crucial bit. Between each pair of pomegranates, a golden bell.
Ah, the golden bell.
And the instruction is so specific. The bells have to jingle when the priest goes into the holy place and when he comes out.
And the kicker?
Lest he should die.
Wow. Lest he die, just for not having jingling bells.
It seems that way. It really makes you stop and think, doesn't it? What on earth is going on there?
It absolutely begs the question, why? Why this life or death rule?
So what's the thinking?
Well, the most probable answer, the one several modern scholars lean towards Wellhausen, Bennett, McNeill, Jerku,
Okay.
is that the chiming sound was meant to drive away spirits.
What kind of spirits?
Envious ones, wicked spirits. The idea was they might be lurking around the sanctuary door.
Ready to attack the priest.
Exactly. Maybe because he was so richly dressed, entering this sacred space. It's about protection from unseen threats at a vulnerable moment.
It's interesting. Wellhausen later dropped this idea for priests, but kept it for horses needing protection. Though you could argue priests needed it just as much.
You definitely could. So this whole idea, using metal sounds for protection, it wasn't just this one instance then.
Oh, not at all. If you pull back and look at the bigger picture,
Yeah.
this belief in metal, or specifically the sound of metal, repelling demons, ghosts.
Yeah.
It's incredibly old and widespread.
So beyond just little golden bells.
Way beyond.
Yeah.
Think the clang of big church bells, the clash of cymbals, booming gongs.
Even just like banging bits of bronze or iron together.
Exactly. Clink, clink. Any sharp metallic sound seems to have qualified in different cultures.
Fascinating. So you see this in classical times too.
Definitely. Lucian mentions specters fleeing from the sound of bronze and iron, but silver, interestingly, seemed to attract them.
Huh. Specific metals mattering?
And Ovid describes Romans after their annual sort of ghost remembrance in May,
Yeah.
clashing bronze vessels to basically tell the ancestral ghosts, okay, time to go now.
Ghosts of my fathers, go forth. Literally shooing them away with noise.
Right. And this idea carries on, even into Christian times. A Christian commentator basically said bronze clashing works as well as a dog barking against ghosts.
So the belief persisted, just maybe adapted a bit.
And then you get to church bells. Major ones. The First Provincial Council of Cologne, way back,
What did they say?
they stated that demons get terrified and leave when they hear the bells calling people to church,
Wow.
and that storm spirits are laid low, though they did add that fervent prayer helped too.
Covering their bases?
Maybe. But the Roman Pontifical itself, the official book of rites, recognized that church bells could drive off evil powers, ghosts, even storm spirits.
So it was official church understanding, not just folklore.
It seems woven in. Durandus in the 13th century called bells the trumpets of the church militant.
Fighting demons with sound.
Pretty much. Terrifying demons during processions, during storms. It was active spiritual warfare.
This connects to the idea of the passing bell, doesn't it?
It really does. Captain Francis Gross wrote about this, the old custom of ringing a bell for someone who was dying.
Not just announcing the death, though.
No, that's key. It had two jobs. One was, yes, asking for prayers for the soul. Standard enough.
But the other.
The other, and maybe the original point, was to drive away the evil spirits. They were thought to hang around the deathbed.
Waiting to grab the soul.
Or just molest it,
Yeah.
interfere with its passage. So the bell ringing was a defense mechanism.
And louder was better.
Apparently. Louder bells were thought to push the spirits further away, give the soul a head start. Gross even uses the term law, like giving someone a head start in a race.
Like clearing the path.
Yeah, and there's this old text, the Golden Legend, that says fiends get scared when they hear bells, especially during storms.
And Longfellow picked up on this, right? In his own golden legend.
He did. It's quite poetic. He has Lucifer trying to silence the bells of Strasbourg Cathedral during a storm.
But they resist.
Utterly. The bells declare, "All thy thunders here are harmless, for
Ooh.
these bells have been anointed and baptized with holy water. They defy our utmost power."
Baptized bells, we'll come back to that. But it shows the belief wasn't just, folk superstition. It was deeply ingrained.
And we know from old accounts, the bell often started ringing while the person was still alive.
Not just after they'd passed.
Right. Stubbs tells a story about a guy known for swearing. He hears his own passing bell start tolling.
What does he do?
He apparently yells out, "God's blood, he shall not have me yet," then promptly dies.
Grim.
Yeah.
But it shows the bell was seen as part of the struggle, not just an announcement.
Exactly. Lady Catherine Gray, Robert Nelson.
Yeah.
Other examples show the ringing began pre-mortem. It strongly suggests the main goal was banishing demons.
Yeah, that seems to be the core idea. You see simpler forms, too, like in the Eifel Mountains, this Benedictus bell rung for the dying explicitly to keep the evil spirits away.
No ambiguity there.
None. Or in Newsall, a small handbell was used right at the bedside. Keep the spirits off.
And then what?
Then, as the person died, the bell would be moved further and further away from the house, sort of accompanying the soul, protecting it on its journey.
So the later idea, the more sentimental one about the sweet sound maybe keeping the soul from leaving,
Yeah.
that's probably not the original point.
Likely a later reinterpretation. The primary function seems much more practical, defensive.
It's true, though, bells do have this incredible emotional pull. Poets love them. Dante, Byron, Gray, Bret Harte.
Renan, too.
Renan, yes. He argued you can't just study folklore academically. You have to feel the emotion, the fusion of thought and feeling that happens with things like music, like bells and religion.
A fair point. There's beauty and deep feeling there.
Absolutely. But for our purposes today, focusing on Frazer's analysis, that underlying protective function is really consistent, isn't it?
It really is. And it wasn't just about ghosts or deathbed demons. Think witches and wizards.
Ah, right. The church bells were used against them, too.
Widely. Especially during specific nights thought to be times of unhallowed assemblies or Sabbaths.
Like Walpurgis Night.
Walpurgis Night, St. Agatha's Night, Midsummer Eve, Twelfth Night. Across Europe, people would ring church bells, sometimes all night, make a huge racket.
To disrupt the witches' meeting, drive them off.
That was the idea. Scare them away with the holy sound, the sheer noise.
And then there was the bellmen. Not quite the same scale, but related.
Definitely related. The night watchman patrolling the streets.
Ringing his bell.
Ringing his bell and chanting, usually some kind of blessing or verse. Milton mentions the bellman's drowsy charm to bless the doors from nightly harm.
Keeping people safe where they slept.
Though apparently their verses were famously awful. Herrick has a whole poem about it. Addison quotes one starting, "Ooh, mortal man, thou that art born in sin."
Charming. But the bell was key, marking the rounds, offering sonic protection.
Exactly. And that brings us back to storms. Ringing bells during thunderstorms was huge, especially in medieval Germany.
To drive away the storm demons.
That was the explicit belief. Evil spirits causing the tempest. The sexton, the church official who did the ringing, even got paid extra for it.
Paid in what?
Thunder sheaves of corn. A special payment for the dangerous, demanding work of ringing bells during a storm.
Wow. That shows how seriously they took it. Were there specific examples?
Oh, plenty. In Swabia at Weingarten Abbey, they had the Holy Blood Bell, believed to stop lightning if rung soon enough. Vermlingen, Constance, same idea.
Did it always work?
Well, there's a story from Constance where some volunteers ringing the bells were actually struck by lightning and killed.
Ouch. Did that stop them?
Apparently not. Others kept ringing. And elsewhere, children would even run around with smaller, blessed handbells during storms. The conviction was incredibly strong.
And this ties into consecrating the bells themselves, right? Giving them names, baptizing them.
Precisely. It wasn't just any old bell. They were often solemnly consecrated, treated almost like individuals, given names.
And inscriptions.
Yes, often inscribed with prayers, like one in Haslan. From lightning, hail, and tempest, Lord Jesus Christ, deliver us. Or at St. Winifred's Well, bells were christened with godparents and everything.
Giving them spiritual power.
That was the intent. Power to calm storms, drive off evil, Even later scholars like the Jesuit Del Rio in the 17th century, while denying they were truly baptized, still affirmed that consecration gave them power against tempests.
So even if the theology got debated, the perceived effect remained.
Pretty much. Bacon tried a physical explanation, something about the sound waves breaking up the storm clouds.
A more scientific take.
A very early one, yeah.
Yeah.
But the belief in certain bells being especially powerful persisted. St. Adelhelm's bell, bells at St. Germain's Abbey, Old St. Paul's Cathedral, all famed for their storm-quelling abilities.
And this wasn't just a European thing.
Not at all. Frazer brings in examples from all over. South America, the Colodo bells in Colombia.
Famous for what?
Dispersing tempests. Apparently, it's a very stormy region, and there was a local legend about a bell that was buried, then dug up and re-erected, becoming super powerful against storms.
Okay. What about Africa?
The Batesa people, for instance. They use bells to drive out storm fiends. If lightning strikes nearby, they wear bells for weeks, jingling their ankles when they walk, specifically to ward off rain and thunder.
Interesting rituals, even burial customs.
Yeah, specific ways of burying those killed by lightning, also involving bells, all aimed at managing that powerful, dangerous force.
In Asia.
In China, there was a practice related to smallpox. When the pustules appeared, people would beat gongs or drums whenever it thundered.
Why?
Frazer conjectures the original reason was probably to drive away the thunder demon, linking illness and storms.
Other Asian examples.
Annamese exorcists sometimes jingle copper bells tied to their big toe. And in Burma, you see bells everywhere at temples.
Mostly to announce prayers to Buddha now, right?
That's the modern function, yes. But Frazer suspects an older layer, a more ancient purpose, banishing demons.
It seems plausible, given the pattern.
The pattern extends to other life events, too. Mourning, for example.
How so?
Tibetan funeral dances involve noise. The Karantis in India beat copper vessels after a death. Even ancient Spartan women beat kettles when a king died.
Noise seems key.
It does. Kaviranda women in Africa wear bells at their husband's funeral. Dayaks in Borneo keep gongs sounding continuously after a death. The likely reason: keeping spirits, maybe the deceased, maybe others away or properly directed.
And childbirth, you mentioned that earlier.
Yes, a hugely vulnerable time. And you find noise-making rituals all over the world to protect mother and child.
Examples.
The Bogos in East Africa make noise. Gons in India. There's the Greek legend of the curates clashing shields to protect the infant Zeus.
Ah, the classics again.
Right. Tagalogs in the Philippines, Kachins in Burma, Kalmucks, Nogais, various groups in Africa and Indonesia, all using noise, weapons, sometimes bells specifically.
To scare off what?
Yeah.
Demons wanting to harm the baby or mother?
Exactly. Malevolent spirits are often thought to be particularly active and dangerous at times of birth. So you make noise, brandish iron, ring bells create a protective barrier. Romans did similar things. It's a near universal response to perceived danger at a critical moment.
This protective use really filters down into everyday life too, doesn't it? Not just big events.
Absolutely. Think personal amulets, small bells worn by children in China.
For protection.
Seems likely. Neapolitan women wearing silver ornaments, often with little bells, explicitly against the evil eye.
The evil eye.
Yazidis have a ritual involving a goat skin and bells. But Daga priests in India walking on fire wear bells tied to their legs.
For protection during the ritual, presumably.
That would be the logical assumption within this framework. And daily life in parts of Africa, Congo natives ringing a bell before taking a drink.
Why?
To stop demons getting in through the mouth. Bells blessed by medicine men used as charms against fever, bullets, even locusts.
Wow, quite a range.
And the bakery people knocking their heads against bells hung on doorposts.
Not to ring them, but...
To ward off evil spirits before entering. A very direct physical use of the bell's perceived power.
It really highlights how tangible these beliefs were.
And significantly, bells often feature prominently in the hands of religious figures in Africa.
Priests, prophets.
Priests, prophets, medicine men, yes. Across various groups, Akamba, Gallus, Fans, Hols, Banyoro, they use bells in rituals.
For all kinds of things.
Fortune-telling, exorcism, healing, trying to understand the divine will. The sound is sometimes meant to attract helpful spirits, sometimes to drive away harmful ones.
Like the Jewish priests again.
Exactly. Many wear bells on their ankles, wrists, or sewn onto their robes, claiming the sound guides them or helps them connect with the spirit world.
So if we try to pull this all together, Frazer identifies sort of two main threads.
That's right. Two primary purposes seem to emerge from all this folklore.
The first being
Repelling evil spirits. That's the most obvious, the most widespread function we've seen. Driving away demons, ghosts, witches, storm fiends, disease spirits.
the defensive use.
Primarily defensive, yes. But there's a second purpose, less common perhaps, but important.
Which is?
Attracting the attention of good spirits, or guardian spirits, or even the deity itself.
Like the medicine men using bells for divination.
Exactly. Or potentially even the Jewish priest's bells. Maybe they weren't just about scaring demons away from the threshold,
But also about
announcing his arrival to God, attracting divine attention and favor as he entered the holy place.
interesting. A dual function, perhaps.
Frazer suggests this attractive function might represent a sort of evolution in religious thinking,
How so?
moving from a primary focus on fear of evil, needing to repel it towards a greater trust in the good, actively seeking connection with benevolent powers, not just defending against malevolent ones.
From defense to invitation.
In a way, yes. A shift towards a more advanced stage of religious consciousness, as he puts it. So the golden bells on the priest's robe, they fit perfectly into this wider, ancient stream of belief. Were they primarily to repel demons or to attract God's notice? Or maybe in that complex ritual moment, both functions were intertwined.
So stepping back from Frazer's specific analysis, what does this huge sweep of history and culture tell us? It's kind of amazing, isn't it? The staying power of this simple act, jingling bells.
It really is. Across continents, across millennia, it points to something pretty fundamental in the human psyche, I think.
This preoccupation with an unseen world and the need for protection.
Yeah, protection against dangers you can't see but feel are real. Whether that's spirits or storms personified as spirits or just the general vulnerability of life, especially at key moments like birth and death, sound becomes a tool, a weapon, a boundary marker.
Which leads to a final thought, maybe.
Go on.
How much of this ancient way of thinking about sound still echoes today? Subtly? Perhaps unconsciously?
That's a great question. Think about how we use sound or silence now. To create atmosphere, to signal importance, to define spaces.
Like the quiet of a library or a church, or the chime of a doorbell marking a threshold.
Exactly. Or even the noise of a crowd, a protest, using sound to assert presence, maybe even to ward off opposing forces in a way. Are we still deep down using sound to manage our relationship with the unseen, whether that's spiritual, social, or psychological?
Delineating boundaries, inviting presence, warding off intrusions. Maybe the function of bells and sound hasn't changed quite as much as we think.
It's definitely something to mull over, how those ancient echoes still resonate.
A fascinating deep dive. Hopefully it sparks your own explorations into these kinds of connections. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive. Keep exploring.